Good afternoon, and welcome to day 2 of the High Point Market. Have you all had a fantastic day today? Everybody seen some good product? Are your feet sufficiently tired already? This is a great place to sit for the next hour, get some great education, hear some fantastic speakers. We're very glad to have you here in High Point, and this is such an important part of what we do. We're happy to have a featured keynote today that I think all of you are going to really enjoy. We hope to really give you some education while you're here. Not only in this space do we do our keynotes, but also if you haven't checked out The Point on Commerce, small structure that we build in the street. There are smaller keynote or smaller networking opportunities, panel discussions, always a great opportunity to do something in addition to getting that new product while you're in High Point. So sit back, relax, you're in for a real treat today. But I'm going to turn it over to our moderator for today, Madeline O'Malley from Architectural Digest. Thank you all for being here.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to High Point. Okay, so we are, as she mentioned, I'm Madeline O'Malley. I am the market director at AD, and we are so excited to be here with Chad and Ashley Stark to talk about honoring heritage while building a business for the future, which is a really exciting topic. So here come Ashley and Chad. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi. Okay, so quickly, I just want to mention that at the end of this little chat, there's going to be a quick meet and greet. So if everybody who wants to come say hi wants to make their way to stage left afterwards, we can do a little meet and greet.
With some really cool Stark umbrellas.
And pens. I saw the pens.
And as I mentioned, I'm with Architectural Digest, and I also just wanted to quickly note that we are also a heritage brand, not unlike Stark, and we celebrated our 100-year anniversary a few years back. And part of our innovation, our brand innovation, is that we have recently launched the AD Pro Directory, which helps to connect designers with our readers. So if anybody wants a little bit more information about that afterwards, I have some colleagues in the back, Lila and Mel, who can tell you a little bit more about that. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to. I know everybody knows a little bit about you, but to give a little bit of background, Chad Stark is the CEO of Stark, the co-founder of Ashley Stark Home, and the president of the House of Scalamandre. As a third-generation design industry leader, Chad's experience in the startup and digital worlds, combined with his deep understanding of the family's venerable heritage brand, have had a tremendous impact on the success of Stark. And today, Chad directs day-to-day operations for Stark and Scalamandre, focusing on innovative ways to improve both the employee and client experience, while continuing to provide the highest level of service to professionals and interior designers. Sorry, something is stuck in my throat. So sorry, guys.
Just picture everyone in their underwear.
No, I know. Sorry about that. And Ashley Stark Kenner is the creative director of Stark and the co-founder of Ashley Stark Home. So Ashley is the force behind the influential @AshleyStark Instagram account, which has more than 1.3 million followers, and the stylish namesake behind Ashley Stark Home. Ashley really understands every step that goes into making an heirloom rug, one with both the looks and quality to last for generations. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so for those who are unfamiliar, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the company? Maybe Ashley, we'll start with you. Or Chad, would you prefer to start?
You start.
So our company was started by our grandfather, and we're cousins. Everyone thinks we're brother and sister. We're cousins. And it's one of those true entrepreneurial stories where our grandfather went on a boat to France with our grandmother on vacation, and back then that's how you got to Europe, right? And they went to the French bazaars. They saw some unique French needlepoint rugs specifically, and they bought a couple because they thought they were cool for their own personal use. And when they got home, some of their friends said, "Oh my God, these are so cool. Where'd you get these?" And they kind of told the story, and their friends liked it. Then the next year, they went on the same trip and bought even more rugs, and this time sold those rugs. And our grandfather said, "Oh, well, maybe this is an opportunity." He quit Wall Street and started Star Carpet. And so that's how it started almost 85 years ago. And since then, our fathers, who are brothers, they took over the business in around 1970 when we were just basically doing handmade rugs in New York City, and they really grew the company to have global brand recognition, 20 corporate showrooms, and a thriving wholesale business. And that's kind of the trajectory, and now the two of us as third-generation owners and leaders, we are tasked with filling some big shoes, but we're excited about it.
Amazing. And you have quite a bit of history. And what role does the history of the company play in your current business strategy today?
So I can speak on the creative side. Basically, if you ask people what our legacy is, it's innovation, design, and this amazing brand that we built. And we are constantly trying to create new amazing products and keep up with the traditional side of it and always look forward while we're doing that.
Absolutely. Product innovation has been the staple for the company. I mean, that's how we built the brand, or our fathers built the brand, is from just a single product, French handmade rugs, to our grandfather working with loom manufacturers to develop the first wide width loom to do design carpet, which another way to say wide width loom is broad loom. And so that industry term, our grandfather was like foundational in creating. And that's really continued to drive us, is how do we honor the brand by continuing to innovate in product, by scouring the world and working with artisans in weaving communities around the world where there's over 50,000 weavers who support our operation overseas. How do we continue to innovate and introduce things that are unexpected? Ashley's I like to say shapes and colors versus I'm the numbers. And her design lens has really allowed us to create beautiful looking qualities and cutting edge designs, whereas when I work with our mills and manufacturers, it's about developing things I haven't seen before. And so together, when we find something we haven't seen and we put the creative lens on it, that's how our strategy in terms of honoring the heritage of product.
Amazing. Well, you started to touch on something that I was going to ask next, which is product innovation. And Ashley, of course, you work so much on the creative side. Could you talk a little bit about your inspiration and whether you're traveling, how are you getting inspiration for new collections?
Sure. So a perk of my job is definitely getting to travel. And the first few years that I started out, I traveled all over the world: Nepal, India, Thailand, and I really drew from what I saw, the local artisans. I got to see how everything was made. I sit with the weavers for hours, work with colors, color palms. I would challenge them. They would match the exact turquoise necklace that I was wearing, the exact fibers. So I feel like traveling and seeing all that firsthand was a huge inspiration for me. And then now I constantly look to what's happening in the fashion world. I like to draw from that. I look back to old ad campaigns that Stark has done years ago, keeping everything fresh, but while also keeping to our heritage. I'm just really inspired by so many different things in the world. But definitely my travels has been one of them for me.
Amazing. And you also recently, or somewhat recently, launched Ashley Stark Home, which is your own venture, which you are creative or co-founder of, correct? And could you talk a little bit about that and how that sort of relates to the larger business and how that sort of expands into your new realm?
So another one of my cousins used to always say to me, "Why don't you put your name on your designs?" And I said, "Well, my name is on all my designs. It's Stark." And they kept pushing me to do my own line. I never really felt like the right time. I had 3 kids. I just kind of felt like things were all over the place. And then because of my Instagram, I started posting what I loved and just became really inspired. People kept coming to me and they loved my point of view, and it was really inspiring for me. And I said, you know what, I feel like I'm onto something. I really would like to put my name on a collection and make it more accessible. And then COVID happened. I'm like, how can we reach all these people that are not necessarily able to come to a showroom or feel comfortable? And the world was changing. So I wanted to create my own line and maybe make it more accessible and keep with the quality and the innovation of Stark, but make it more an accessible price point. And I called up Chad. I'm like, Chad, I have a business venture. Why not start another business on top of this? And he was really into the idea, and we got started. And I'm constantly asked about things that are in my home, like a tabletop and lighting and everything that I'm using. And I just wanted to be able to share that piece of me and be able to give an engine for me to send people to. Like people are always like, where did you get that? Where did you get that? And I could never, I was sourcing, and this was just an easy way for me. Well, you can buy it on my website. Where did you get those beautiful flowers? I designed them and I sell them there. So that was sort of the inspiration for it.
Amazing. Well, I know everybody's excited to see what you're cooking up next. You started as, or Stark really started as a carpet company, but I think we all know Stark as so many things today. How would you describe the company of Stark today?
Yeah, we like to say carpet is what we do, but it's not who we are. Our mission is to create world-class experiences, and that's for our team members and for our clients. And the experience component is we're an experience-driven company. Product and carpet is just what we sell. It's easy to multitask, but it's not easy to multi-focus, right? You can't focus on a lot of things. You could do a lot of things, but you can't focus on all of them. And I'd say in 2017 was the first big step we took at creating more dedicated focus. And in the 90s, our fathers bought Old World Weavers, which was Iris Apfel's fabric company. And then they bought a few more brands and developed the umbrella of Stark Fabric. And we were doing furniture, we were doing fabric, we were doing kind of everything in the home. And what we learned is, where can we be best in the world? Let's stay focused on the experience around the process of buying carpets and rugs with that dedicated team. And so we acquired and partnered with Scalamandre, the House of Scalamandre, to create, there's a CEO, his name's Louis, he's the CEO of Scalamandre, and he drives the operation for there. So Stark could be focused exclusively on carpets and rugs. And that's why we felt, well, rather than actually curating accessories or designing licensed partnerships like this Diane James collection, rather than put that under Stark, the Ashley Stark home brand gives us a different avenue to focus with a different group, different mind share of developing this more, everything except for upholstery right now. It's you start and end with Ashley Stark Home. That's the strategy behind it. So you start with the floor. We think that's the right way to go about design, but we might be biased. So that's kind of how we've evolved a little bit the business strategy. And so while carpet and rugs is our main category, we're focused on developing world-class experiences. And when we work with our clients, we learn that there's three things our designers care about the most. It's peace of mind service, which that's how they have a great experience, is when things inevitably go wrong with handmade product that takes 6 months to make, the companies show their true stripes when things go wrong, not when things go right. And so providing designers with that peace of mind Stark guarantee has been a big focus. We've spoken about product, and right now I'd say our biggest focus is around convenience. Convenient shopping experience today is very different than what it was in the 70s and 80s when our fathers grew the brand. When they opened in San Francisco, for the first time, the San Francisco design community had access to our product, and it was very, very convenient. But today, convenience is more than just having a showroom. It's the way that we communicate. It's the way that we interact online. There's a lot more to it. And so that's kind of why we think we're an experience company, not a carpet company.
Amazing. So at what point do you feel like it's the right moment to make some sort of change? You talked about acquiring Old World Weavers. You've launched your own business. Is there like a gut feeling type of thing, or is it a numbers-driven decision, or a bit of both?
Well, I'd say, there's a couple Stark people I see in the audience. We are constantly changing. It's the second we stop changing is the second we become irrelevant. If we don't disrupt ourselves, someone else will disrupt us. And so, the biggest challenge we've had, especially with working with our fathers who've built an incredible business, is sometimes our success stands in our way of continued success is, oh, well, it's worked, right? But so I remember an argument I got with my dad, I don't know, 2014, when we renovated one of our showrooms, and I was like, we got to hire this architect to do this innovative thing. And he said, well, I've been building showrooms for 40 years. I know what a showroom should look like. I looked at him, I said, what stores look the same for 40 years, right? But it's worked. And so that's been an interesting dynamic, is we're constantly trying to evolve the business, and it's always time to change. But how do you change while honoring legacy? How do you change in a way that not only is at an acceptable pace for your team, but also keeps the core business at the center of the decision making? It's a balancing act, and it's always time to change. We just got to think about how do you do it thoughtfully.
Right. So Stark is a family company. You guys are cousins. How do you guys work together? How do you divide up responsibilities? And are we chatting about carpets at dinner? How does this work?
So like Chad said it best. I'm the creative, he's the numbers, but then we can come together. We both don't have an ego on either side. So I do everything creative, marketing, advertising, and Chad also overlaps with me, and he trusts my style and my taste, and I trust his sense of numbers and business, and I think then we overlap in the middle and we meet. And my household, we are always talking about carpet and rugs and everything, and my mom, who is a force of her own, will constantly be sending me articles and screenshots from Instagram, and is always like, you need to post more color. You're not posting enough color these days. And I'm like, thank you for the feedback, Mom. I love you.
Creative consultant role.
As a mom, as only a mom can do. So
amazing. Could you guys talk a little bit about a few moments that you feel have really propelled the brand forward?
Sure. I mean, I touched on the history side, right? So I think the development of wide-width designed carpet, broadloom, was, I think, a key moment for the company when it turned us from a primarily rug company to being this, international broadloom powerhouse, so to speak. I mean, we have over 3,000, close to 3,500 in-stock broadloom items. We're the only company that has exclusive broadloom in the world, because we have our network of 20 showrooms. I'd say the development of broadloom was a huge moment for our company, but that was before either of us were alive. As of late, we mentioned the Scalamandri one, and I'd say the most recent memory in terms of defining moments for the company, and me as a CEO specifically, was COVID. Right? It revealed to us not just the resilience of our industry and our company and the teams that we've built, but how do we create a convenient experience for clients with closed showrooms? With almost half of our business being handmade custom still, even though we have all this broadloom, handmade custom is huge. And all of our samples were trapped in locations doors were locked that no one can go in. And so how are we going to do custom business without the access to samples? And that totally required us to step back and re-strategize our sampling overall, how we use our warehouse versus our showrooms, our product development strategy. That moment, I think, changed the company and changed the company for the good, because it, again, going back to our success, sometimes stands in our way of progress. When showrooms shut down in April 2020, our sales went down 70% for 1 month. And that is a scary thing, and it required we rethink our entire strategy. Now, fortunately for our industry and for our company, it bounced back pretty quickly, and it bounced back stronger than ever. But the learnings from that experience, I think, have allowed us to evolve our service strategy and evolve our culture, where we were able to come through 2020 and our culture score went up significantly. And so whatever we did, which is really centered around authentic and transparent and empathetic communications, that worked, and it just created this kind of new energy where we've been revitalizing for a while, but this is kind of that was the last mile, and it really just created all this energy, this excitement around evolving our service offering to be more convenient and being a better source for our clients.
Amazing. So we're here at High Point. The point of me being here is to see exciting new collections, and a big part of you being here is to show exciting new collections. So could you talk a little bit about some new collections that you're excited about?
Sure. So, of course, the Ashley Stark Home collection has been really exciting for us. It's Stark at its best, but at a more accessible price point, without getting rid of the quality. It's the best quality and greatest fibers. And then another amazing collection we've been working on, which is, I think, like industry breaking, is our spa collection, which is our performance. It's hand-woven rugs using indoor-outdoor fibers that look good enough to put in any part of your home, your living room. I think there's one up there behind you on the screen. They're done in amazing techniques. So if you saw a sample of that, it's like a chunky weave with a high cut pile, and they're so lush and luxurious, but you can literally spill on them, leave them outside, and they're completely cleanable. So that to me has been a really exciting collection, especially as a mom of 3 who has children spilling coloring all over our rugs.
Yeah, what I think makes both of those collections so exciting is we really believe that no one knows our business and the opportunity better than our clients. And so how do we engage our clients to develop programs that they can't find elsewhere? And so the Ash collection was, well, we love Stark, but my clients can't afford it. And it's good to have this aspirational brand positioning, but that isn't always the case. We have such a diverse assortment where we have things for every area of a project. And if the Stark average rug price is $7,000, the Ash collection is closer to $3,000 for an 8x10, let's just say as an example. And so our client said, how do we have a product that's more affordable without sacrificing quality? Ash. Or how do I have a product, or my clients are asking me for luxury performance, and when I hear indoor-outdoor, I feel like it's not high-end. And so we developed with SPA to speak more to that. SPA stands for Stark Performance Acrylic. So good, you can use it in a spa. And it's the only solution-dyed acrylic fiber specifically spun and developed for rugs. So there are solution-dyed acrylic rugs in the market, but most of them, or all of them really, are machine spun, which, not to get too technical, but whenever you do something by machine or by hand, there's always subtle variations when you do it by hand. And hand spinning acrylic yarn to be used in hand knotted product is something that hasn't existed, and it took a while to figure that out, because there's 3 different countries involved in the production process, but again, it came from our clients. Or what you have on screen now, it's part of our Allegro program, which designer said, my clients want to pay more to get it quicker. How can we do that? So, well, sometimes you can't, but okay, well, let's work with some of our key clients to develop a program, and now we're stocking wool, silk, and nylon yarns, where as long as you don't pick from our color bank, as long as you do pick from our color bank, rather, you don't have to dye yarn, and that speeds up the process. And so I'd say one difference with our father and uncle versus our approach is supply wasn't everywhere in a pre-internet, modern transportation world. And so finding unique things was in some ways easier, but now we got to leverage our clients, because people are doing custom because they can't find stock mostly. So why are they doing custom? What are the things they can't find? And how do we use that feedback to evolve our product strategy? So I think those are the three of the things that we're pretty excited about right now.
Amazing. So what are some of the challenges that come with preserving heritage while you're looking forward to the future?
Oh, I can speak to this. So when I entered the company, it was run by my father and my uncle, and it was, everything was very masculine, a lot of green and gold. And I remember looking in the first product meeting, and I said to my dad, I'm like, I don't understand these colors. Where are your pale blues and your grays and your lavenders? And my dad looked at me and said, nobody is going to buy gray. It is so dirty. And I was like, let me just work on this for a second. And I developed a whole line of gray, and I swear my company, it is still the best-selling color. And this was, almost 18 years ago. So I think for me was entering this all-male world and learning to really listen to myself and my intuitions and my instincts and bring a softer feminine side, and realizing that I could trust my design capability. And it was I'm sure some of you guys have entered that before, but it was a fun learning experience for me.
Yeah, the impact Ashley's had on products has been incredible. Just from a sheer color standpoint, it's been a huge evolution. So that's, I think, the challenges she had. And some of the other challenges we face, we spoke to sometimes success stands in our way. Like when we look at our culture and the people at our company, we've had many team members who've been there for 20, 30 years. And to be successful, let's just say in sales, 20 years ago is very different than being successful today. And I remember he's retired now, his name was Tim Cohen. He was a salesperson, then a manager. And I'll never forget the story he told me once where he said, yeah, when I was a salesperson in New York, my day consisted of 3 parts. Until 2 p.m., I was dealing with clients in the showroom. From 2 to 5, I was listening to voicemails. From 5 to 7, I was calling people back and leaving voicemails, and I would do it all over again. And that was a very different world. And today, the competitive landscape has changed significantly. Our main competition used to be trade companies in design centers, and there aren't that many national carpet and rug brands anymore. So now our main competition is the local retailer, is our clients are coming to us and going to local retailers. And so the competitive landscape has changed, and thinking through how do we stay relevant in a changing world that's different, how to be successful in sales, how to be successful in product, and how to grow our showroom footprint in a way that makes sense, that's been a really interesting challenge to overcome.
And when it comes to innovating, we are living in the digital age, and I have heard that you might be revamping your website soon. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So, I mean, this is our 3rd revamp in the last, 6 years. So it's always the new exciting thing, and then it doesn't always work as expected, and then you learn and you evolve and you adapt. And so now really what we've learned, so when we relaunched our site because of COVID, and the big focus of that was how do we make our product more available to the design community so they can see it, visualize it, et cetera. And what we tried to do is say, how do we bring our showroom experience online? And what we learned is we can't bring our showroom experience online. It's too robust. We have too many services. Installation and custom are over 50% of our business, and we can't do that online. Mm-hmm. And so we've learned is, okay, well, our website can't be our showroom online. It needs to be a version of our showroom online to make simple products, specifically rugs, whether it's a fabricated rug from Broadloom or a stocking rug, easy to sample, easy to see, easy to visualize in your space or just any room. So how do we make the search, sampling, and visualization easier, specifically for rugs? And how do we use the website as a vehicle to drive leads into our showroom? And so that's a big focus now is, if we talk about sheer sales, we want to convert leads. No one is better at converting leads than our sales force in store. And so the more we can get people's interest online into a conversation, the better our service will be, the better the experience will be, and the better it will help our company. And for us, again, it's not about just the transaction happening online. It's about creating a service experience that people rave to about with their friends. And that word of mouth for designers is obviously a huge component of new business, and same for us. Is we really focus on our existing accounts, and now the website is much more a tool to help drive leads to our showroom and help our accounts who want to search online, give them the tool, but make it more of a partner with our showrooms versus something that's trying to do what our showrooms is doing. That's kind of the big change in strategy.
Amazing. And e-commerce is obviously a huge part of your business with Ashley Stark Home as well. Could you talk a little bit about that? And you touched on it at the beginning, but how your Instagram presence and that aspect of the business leads into your strategy.
Sure. So like I said before, everybody kept coming to me and asking where everything was constantly on a daily basis, and I really wanted to give people access to that. And then COVID happened, and everybody felt like was at home, and they were shopping at home, and I really wanted to give the accessibility that people were looking for. So I thought, might as well, and everything on the Ash website really is things that I source, that I use in my own home, that I love, products that I really believe in and that I'm using in my everyday life. And I felt like just to give that opportunity was really important. And I felt like it was the future of where the world was kind of going. And obviously our design clients are a huge part of Stark, and they're protected on our website as well. And it's, I've spoken to so many designers who are actually loving it, and it's a little bit of a different aesthetic than the Stark products. And it's just been a fun experience to do, and been great to have people to have that vehicle, because we've never sold anything online before.
Yeah, I mean, what do we know about selling direct to consumer online? Let me tell you, not much.
Not a lot.
Okay, it's a very different business than the showroom business, and the Ashley Stark Home platform has been an incredible learning opportunity for our company, because we were wondering, okay, well, what's going to happen? Are our existing clients going to start buying on Ashley Stark Home? No, they'd rather work with our sales team. Or are homeowners going to go to Ashley Stark Home and try to cut out their designer? No, that's happened once in the year and a half that we've heard about. Of course, we don't know every time. But so we've learned, there's been a lot of hypotheses around, what does opening up access, what does creating a new brand, what does customer acquisition look like? A lot of hypotheses, and it's been an incredible learning opportunity for our company because it's allowed us to evolve our trade benefit program, our trade loyalty programs, and things like that based on what actually matters to our clients on real activities, not just based on these theoretical. And so it's been a great experience for that, for sure.
Amazing. So you've worked with so many amazing designers over the years. Do you have any dream collaborators, any dream designer to work with on a project?
I mean, Ashley is my dream designer,
Yeah.
I guess you could say. I mean, the Ashley Stark Home collection is by far the most successful collection we've ever done in our showrooms. Now, yes, we sell it online, but we sell 10x more of it through our showrooms than we do online, which just shows us the power of if you create a strong brand message, you do great marketing with great visuals, and it's really comprehensive, the impact it can have with our existing clients, because those are the people who are buying it. We launched it saying, are there going to be a lot of new clients? And what we learned is it's really hard to build new clients online, but if we can give another price point to our existing customers, it's a great thing. But we're, as a company, not huge with collections. What we found is that, granted, this has probably changed, but when I joined the business, we did a lot of collections as a strategy to try to get more business from a designer. Oh, you don't do a lot with us, let's do a collection. And what happened is we didn't properly support the collections, and we upset the designer instead of making the designer happy. So we stopped doing all collections, and then now we kind of look at it as in the right opportunity, it makes sense, but it's a reward for existing clients who are doing a lot of business, not a strategy to get more business. And so, I mean, I can't speak to Ashley's Instagram DMs, but I at least once a week get a DM from a designer saying, would Stark be interested in doing a collection? And the first thing I do is check the status of the relationship. And if they're not doing business with us, it's an easy conversation. And if they are, then we look at it as, okay, well, what might make sense? The first question we ask is, well, what's your goal of the collection? If someone says to make money, we say, we're not the company for you, because we don't find many people make a lot of money on rug licenses. But if someone says, I'm trying to build my brand portfolio to say I'm the designer of all these products and it will help me acquire design clients, that might be a reason to do it. Or the image we showed with the gray rug that I said was part of our Allegro quick ship custom program, that was the Andrew Torrey collection, because Andrew Torrey was a great client in New York who basically gave us the idea for the entire program. We said, great, as a thank you for giving us this great idea, which is going to help our business, we'll make the collection with you. And so that's really our approach to collections, is reward those, support those who support you. And if we can reward a client for giving us great ideas, then that's how we look at it. But it hasn't been a huge marketing thing for us to just, like in the fabric business where it's maybe a bigger thing, or in the lighting business.
Right.
We haven't really found that success.
I'm going to answer the question a different way. My most exciting thing with working with designers, I love seeing how they're using our rugs. I love when people tag me. I love seeing the finished room. So for me, Instagram has been such a way to connect with people that I would never connect with, who are all across the country, or across the world, globally. And I love seeing how they're using our inspirations. I work so hard at something, and then seeing how they can interpret it, it's so rewarding for me. And I think it's, like I said before, the designers are our design partners, and that to me, there's not just one, it's working with all of them.
Yeah, of course. So what's next for Stark?
Global carpet domination?
World domination.
Global carpet.
Manifest destiny.
No, I mean, we talk about our mission is to create world-class experiences. We talk about our vision is to be the most well-known omni-channel, online and offline, luxury carpet and rug brand, being specific to carpets and rugs, developing our online strategy to be more comprehensive with our offline strategy, and convenience as our brand promise, that's where we want to do the most work. And so how do we continue to create a more convenient and accessible shopping experience for our clients? There's so many ideas we have, and the future is coming quicker than ever, especially with all this ChatGPT stuff everyone's hearing, right? We're using it for our company, so hopefully you guys are learning how to do it, for certain things for you. How do you think we come up with all these names of carpet now? It's, here's all of our names, give us 50 that we haven't used. It's really interesting and powerful how technology is evolving, and the future for us is going to be, more data-driven. It's going to be more inclusive of client feedback. We're already doing it, but we want to do it at a larger scale. And it's staying disciplined in terms of what can we be best in the world at is peace of mind service, diversity of assortment, and convenience for the carpet and rug category. And we're acquiring retail showrooms. We're opening wholesale partners, which we call our Premier Partner Program, where we're basically doing a shop in a shop inside a store where we have, I think, 10 of those slated for this year. So the more we can do whatever we want online, showrooms are the best way for a designer who's in that market to have a convenient experience. And so we're definitely going to keep expanding our physical footprint because of that.
Amazing. Any final words about the movement of the company, Ashley, on your end?
I just feel like we are just always trying to stay not just current, but ahead of the curve. And that's with our designs. And we're looking for our brand legacy. And I think it's going to continue being innovation and brand. So.
And the Ashley Star collection is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
It's been so successful for our showrooms. Like, forget the website, even though obviously that's an opportunity. If we can do something that our core clients didn't think of us for, that now there's a new category for them, we're going to keep feeding into that because we like to dip our toe, but once the water's warm, we jump in head first. And the Ashley Star collection and the price point has been a really eye-opening thing for us, and we want to keep developing into that, while also making sure we don't forget about the high end and the custom. Not to say that a $3,000 rug is not high end; it's still high end. But we're continuing to develop if we're going to do the 3,000, we need the 10,000, and it's just a balancing act.
Amazing. Well, I think we have time for a few questions. I believe somebody has a microphone. Oh, thank you so much. If anybody just wants to raise their hand, I can try to take a look. Right here in the third row.
Hi, this is Joanne Gans-Benditson. I'm Kathy and Karen's sister, Ashley. I want to know how you grew your Instagram to over 1 million followers.
Honestly, it was really organic. This is like pre-Pinterest, and I just was posting what I liked, and I think the biggest thing that I can say is that I stayed true to myself and my aesthetic, and I engaged with my followers. I run my whole Instagram from the day I posted my first picture till today, and I try to, that's what I love about it. I love, like I said before, it connects me with people that I would never meet. I love meeting them in person. I love interacting with people. I love seeing what other people are doing, and I really post what I love and what I'm interested in and what's inspiring me. And I think a lot of it is honestly fly by the seat of my pants, and I'm looking for what's inspiring me and what's driving me in my design aesthetic. And it was a way for me to stay organized. And I think the biggest advice I can give everybody is really engage with your followers and post what is you. Don't post, what somebody else thinks should be you. Just post what inspires you or what your work is, and keep your aesthetic and just engage.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Hello, my name is Kathy, and I'm from Studio North in Michigan. How do you structure your showrooms? Thinking about when is the right time for you to add staff, when have you thought about a reduction in staff, and how big typically are your showroom spaces?
Sure. Well, I went to University of Michigan, so hopefully go blue. All right, go blue. Yeah, it's a great question. Our sales through showrooms is all account-based. Oops, is this falling off? Versus Scalamandre is territory-based. So in Scalamandre, we have a bunch of salespeople in a territory, and everyone is kind of pooled to service clients. Whereas we found on the carpet and rug side, what works best for us in terms of creating the best experience, creating the most loyalty, is having dedicated account managers for every trade client. And so when do we add more members to our sales team? It's when all of our sales team is at capacity. Our sales ceiling is limited by the number of salespeople that we have, because on average, a salesperson at our company can service 35 to 50 accounts a year really, really well, where when we do our client surveying, on a scale of 1 to 10, we ask, how likely are you to recommend someone else to work with our company? And 94% give a 9 or a 10 over the last year. And so the way that we achieve that is super dedicated, specialized, personalized service. And so when do we add more people is once our sales team is spread too thin. We'll hire as many great salespeople as we can find. So if anyone knows any great salespeople in 20 markets, we're all ears. It's an important thing for our company. And our father and uncle, or my father and uncle, our fathers, grew this company investing in product and investing in our sales team. And so sometimes we try to evolve the model, but then it always comes back to we have great product, we have a great sales team, we have more sales team, we have more product. It just continues to grow our opportunity. And so I'd say that's the biggest way we think about staffing up in our showrooms. And in terms of markets, right now, we believe if someone's more than 30 minutes away from our showroom, they're most likely not having the most convenient experience to drive there. And that's what leads to our acquisition strategy or our partnership strategy is we don't want anyone to have to drive more than 30 minutes to get to our showroom. And we have a lot of expansion to do if that's going to be the case. But that's kind of a little bit how we think about it. Hopefully that answers the question.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hi, Marianne Corey Vogt with Corey Vogt Architects. And so we're an architecture, interior design, and product design firm. We do some custom designs. And one of the struggles we have is how do you protect your designs intellectually? Do you have everybody sign a, consent not to repeat before you even show them a design? That's something that we're struggling with internally. I'd love to know any advice you have on that.
I mean, the short version is we create more designs than our ability to protect them. So, Etsy recently has sold 2 Ashley Stark rugs with our images at a fraction of the price point. So obviously it's not the same quality, it's not the same price, but it's being sold without the brand, with the exact images taken from our website. So we have obviously when we see it, we go after, but it's not something that's the biggest focus of our company because we can go crazy trying to protect all of our designs, and it's not going to happen. And today, because of, again, modern communication, modern transportation, the world is much more flat. Product's important, but where we can win is on service. And so we want to protect our designs. Of course, we do some work to copyright certain things and whatnot, but really the way we protect our designs is we protect the relationship we have with our clients. And that's kind of more our strategy because it's impossible to police the internet and we'll never be able to protect it all. We introduce new products every 2 weeks. And so the amount of cost and effort to try to police it is just, we do it and we do as much as we can, but it would drown the company in legal work if we really, wanted to do it all the time, every case. And so it's just more of a, cease and desist, or we'll go after people if they're using something like the exact images, whatever, but it's subjective, right? Our designs often come from inspiration that someone else might have been inspired by the same thing, and it's really hard to protect.
I think she meant her own design. So if you bring us a custom design, we would never recreate it without.
Oh, that was the question?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, maybe I misunderstood. Yeah, but so, our custom designs, we don't sample the custom designs we do.
Yeah, we don't sample it. It's
for
just
someone.
for you. It only would go into your design library, and it would never be recreated.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're also willing to, if someone says, if we're doing this, can you sign an NDA and not, share this? Or, we're always willing to work with our clients on that, because at the end of the day, you're creating the design, and we're just your design partner.
It's your design.
But again, sometimes what will happen is we'll do a custom design, and it goes on Instagram, and we feature it, we tag whatever, all permissions, everything's good, but then someone copies it.
But that would never go on our Instagram or anything without your permission. So that would be up to you whether. So it could just be for your design library. Nobody would ever see your sample again.
And we're constantly making custom samples for designers' libraries that aren't even in our showrooms.
And most of them aren't. They just they go right to the designer, and then that's it. And they live there, and they can reproduce them or not, whatever they want to do.
Well, thank you guys so much for talking about all of that. That was so interesting. And thank you to everybody who came out to see the talk. And as I mentioned at the beginning, if anybody wants to do a little meet and greet, you can come to this side of the stage, and there's a ramp that will lead you up. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.